After 3,700 years of petrification, a young scientist awakens in a stone world and decides to restore civilization. Senku, a scientist, awakens after 37 years of petrification and works to restore civilization. But due to turmoil with another awoken human, Shishio Tsukasa, he faces a dilemma as the man threatens to kill Senku and rid the world of science. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'll be recapping a post-apocalyptic sci-fi, Dr. Stone. Adapted in 2019, this show explores a post-apocalyptic world drawn by Boichi, with the spirit of shounen still alive. So, without any further ado, let's begin. The show starts as Senku, a genius high schooler, makes fun of his friend Teiju as he's about to confess a strange light turns all humanity into stone. Teiju survives in his petrified state for millenniums, and upon awakening, finds Zuzui still petrified. That is when he comes across Senku, who awakened 6 months ago, has already kickstarted civilization. Senku reveals to him that it's been 3,700 years since the petrification, and both of them must work to rebuild the civilization. In order to restore humanity from the petrified state, both of them work on the revival fluid, finally perfecting it after a year of trial and error. Upon perfecting the revival fluid, Teiju and Senku decide that Zuzui should be the first one to be unpetrified, but they are attacked by lions while trying to move her stone body to a safe place. In order to survive, they decide to awaken Tsukasa Shizui, the strongest primate high schooler, who takes out a lion with a single blow. Together, the three of them divide the labor amongst themselves and manage to acquire calcium carbonate, but Senku cautiously conceals one of its use from Tsukasa. Later, Tsukasa destroys an elder statue, claiming that the stone world doesn't need to be tainted with the ideas of the old. But Senku disagrees because he wants to save every human being. Upon deducing that Tsukasa can't be controlled, Senku fiddles about having no revival fluid, and Tsukasa volunteers to go get it. Teiju and Senku quickly release Zuzui, trapped in stone. But until then, Tsukasa is already back. Tsukasa, no longer hiding his psychopathic intents, is taken on by Teiju and Senku. But unable to do anything, Teiju fakes being knocked out, and Tsukasa leaves warning them. Senku decides to pretend to run away and heads to Awakens. Without proper GPS, they use a Buddha statue to guide them. Upon reaching the Awakens hot springs, Senku reveals that they will be making a gun to stop Tsukasa. Senku, Teiju, and Zuzui start collecting sulfur from the volcanic site to make gunpowder and to close the gap from Tsukasa. They accidentally set off an explosion, creating a smoke signal. But coincidentally, someone returns the signal with their own. As Teiju is collecting wood, Tsukasa arrives, following the smoke, and holds Zuzui hostage in exchange for info on the revival fluid. Senku, unexpected, complies with his demands to save Zuzui. But he refuses to abandon his science when asked to do so by Tsukasa. Senku reminisces about his younger years and his curiosity to learn. Tsukasa, perceiving Senku as a threat to his empire, decides to kill him. Tsukasa ostensibly kills Senku. Teiju is enraged, but together with Zuzui, he cunningly sets off Senku's gunpowder, giving him an opportunity to run away. Teiju and Zuzui are certain that Senku must have left a clue for them. Realizing Senku's recent habit of cracking his neck, the pair notice a piece of stone remaining on his neck. In the hope of healing Senku, they put the revival fluid on it. As we wind back in time when he awakens after 37 years of petrification, he makes every effort to survive in this stone world, even after failing several times. Finally, Senku acquires shelter and tools and stands tall as the first human in this stone world. Still back in time, Senku works on awakening Teiju to get the manpower necessary. Upon discovering nitrate acid from the cave, he manages to awaken Teiju and works to prepare the revival fluid. In the present, Senku's revival is successful. Senku establishes his kingdom of science and sends Zuzui and Teiju to spy on Tsukasa. Meanwhile, Tsukasa, believing Senku's dead, encounters a beautiful blonde, Kohaku, who attacks him. Tsukasa is surprised by Kohaku's power and in a hurry, pins her down a tree. Senku, noticing the commotion, reaches the entrapped Kohaku and builds a pulmonary system to release her. Kohaku takes Senku to her village, a civilization of 40 humans, but Senku is stopped at the entrance by the guards, Kinro and Jinro, since the village doesn't allow outsiders to enter. A boy, Chrome, challenges Senku to a battle of sorcery, but Senku overwhelms Chrome with his superior knowledge. Senku takes a liking to Chrome and discovers his collection of valuable minerals. Chrome reveals to Senku that he wants to heal Kuhaku's sister, Rory. Seeing Chrome's enthusiasm, Senku reveals what happened 37 years ago and all the technological advances humanity had made. Senku, deciding to help Chrome in order to rescue the villagers, reveals his next scientific goal, an antibiotic. Senku reveals the roadmap to making the antibiotic. Kohaku, Chrome, and Senku set off to the river to get the first material, iron. While getting the iron sand, they encounter a village girl, Suka, with a watermelon rind covering her face, who wants to help them. But they require the more manpower to smelt iron, hence they send Suka to investigate on what could entice the villagers. Upon listening to Suka's report, they decide that food could be something they could lure the villagers with. They end up making ramen with foxtails and set up a ramen cart outside the village. The ramen cart attracts flocks of villagers, but it also attracts a Gary Jin, a magician, who's been sent by Tsukasa to authenticate Senku's death. However, witnessing Suka's work makes him think otherwise, and he considers switching sides. Senku gets everyone who ate the ramen to work on the smeltering iron and acquires iron. Upon witnessing a thunderstorm, Senku decides to utilize it to make magnets. Senku uses these magnets to make a power generator, and after some convincing, Genru and Kinru operate the generator, leading Senku to light up a bulb in the darkness of the stone world. As Jin dwindles on what to report to Tsukasa, while reminiscing about the time he was awakened by Tsukasa, suddenly he's attacked by a shrouded figure. Thanks to his prominent thinking, some fake blood, Jin barely manages to survive the assault. Upon Suka's investigation, it is revealed that Magma, the angry villager whom Jin turned away, is the attacker, and he mistook Jin for Senku. Kuhaku reveals that Magma did so in order to win the grand bout, in which Magma had lost to Kuhaku in the past, preventing him from marrying Rory and becoming village chief. In order to fight Magma in the grand bout, Kuhaku takes Jinru and Kinru under her training. Chrome decides that he's a scientist and will help Rory with his cure-all drug. After making a deal with Senku, Jin reports back to Tsukasa that Senku is dead, all for a single bottle of chilled cola. Senku reveals that in order to obtain the cure-all drugs, they must acquire glass. While brainstorming for ideas, he suddenly removes the watermelon from Suki's head, revealing a cute little girl. Due to bad eyesight, Suka has to squint her face, making her insecure about being ugly. Senku decides to make glasses to help her. After scavenging for supplies, Senku acquires the lenses and places them in Suka's watermelon. The lenses help her to see clearly for the first time in her life. Senku works on making glass equipment, but fails miserably. Upon witnessing the disaster, Chrome kidnaps a craftsman, Kaseki, from the village and has him help them make the glass equipment. After acquiring the equipment, Senku decides to give Gino a new silver spear and plans on the most dangerous venture in order to obtain an important resource. After giving Jinru his silver spear, Senku reveals to him that the silver is a sensor for poisonous gas, is needed in order to obtain the most difficult material, sulfuric acid. During the journey, Jinru is too scared to do his job, but after witnessing an emerald-colored lake, Senku and Chrome rush only to find it's covered in poisonous gas and barely managing to save themselves. To counter the gas, Senku makes a mask, but he asks Chrome not to join him on this venture so that someone remains with the knowledge of science. Chrome refuses and convinces Senku to have them both go together. After a few tweaks to the gas mask, they head towards the Emerald Pool. Everything is going smoothly until Chrome slips and is about to fall into the pool of acid. But Jinru, who came after mustering up some courage, saves Chrome, and together the gang finally obtains sulfuric acid. And amidst all this buildup, we will have to cut the recap. Humans petrified for thousands of years. A single boy awakens and tries to restore civilization with his friends. But turmoil brews among humans, leading to the formation of two separation groups. Will Senku's Kingdom of Science be able to stand the onslaught by Tsukasa's empire and restore civilization? What does the stone world have in store for Senku? And the biggest question, what was the cause for the sudden petrification of humanity?